Hey there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time, and I hope you're having a great week. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you are in America and you celebrate it, and most people do, I suppose. And now we are in the holiday season officially. Oh my goodness. So I built the flat Christmas tree. Oh, by the way, this is Sat Chat. It's not a tutorial. We're just going to talk about like random stuff for about half an hour. If you're here for it, hey, welcome, enjoy, sit back, kick back, start your weekend right, put a little pep in your step, grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever, and yeah, let's hang out. So I talked about building this flat Christmas tree, and so I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to have such a wow factor. It's going to be so epic. It's going to be so affordable to make. I spent like $93 on building this flat Christmas tree on my wall. I was thinking it was going to come in around $40 or $50. Oh no, friends. Oh no. And as I'm building it, I'm like, are you kidding me? I still feel like I need more like boughs for it. Anyway, I made it work, and I'll have a video for that soon. I'll have it really soon in case anybody wants to make one. Of course, after watching me, you made it like, no, we're going with the regular tree. And the girls came home for Thanksgiving, and they're like, but we're gonna have a real tree, right? And I'm like, oh no, maybe, I don't know. And so I went down to see my family for Thanksgiving. We all piled into the car together, and the dog would not, we put her bed in the way back, she would not stay on her bed. So the girls and I sat in the back seat. There's actually pictures on Instagram. The girls and I sat in the back seat with the dog under our legs on the floor. Jackson was shotgun and Jason was driving. And so we had a ride there and back that way. We went down to my sister's house. She lives a little over an hour away. And so I was talking to my sister, and I was talking to her about the flat tree, and we're showing her a picture of it. And she said, so did you recycle your old Christmas tree? And I said, no, I didn't even think about that. She's like, I guess our aunt does these, like we'll do kissing balls and little mini Christmas trees and stuff out of an old artificial tree she cut apart. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. So I'm thinking about maybe repurposing the old artificial tree because it's not in good shape. It is like rickety and just like it has lived its useful life. So I'm thinking about maybe doing some stuff with that. I like making the fresh kissing balls every year, but it's harder and harder to find the oasis, and then you've got to throw that oasis away. And I just kind of feel, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in the environmental bucket. You know, there's only so much we can do as consumers. However, it's kind of like, it would be nice to make something that I could reuse every year. And yeah, so I'm thinking about doing something like that, or maybe even just kind of doing something to the tree and making it shorter and making something that can go in the bay window in our living room so it can be seen from the outside and from the inside. I don't know. We're also hosting Christmas Eve, so our space is going to be kind of limited, and a tree takes up so much space. So it's back at the drawing board. The flat tree is fine. I gotta decorate it. It's just got tinsel on it right now. Or not tinsel, but like, you know, the tinsely garland. But it's pretty. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's good. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas trees to begin with, so it's a struggle. I don't know. It always just seems like things are always getting knocked off from it, or it makes a mess if it's a real tree, and I'm afraid of like real trees and fires because we have a fireplace. Which can dry stuff out, so who knows, so I don't have any notes this week because although it's been a fairly busy week, I haven't really made any notes, and I figure I can just talk about it. So last Friday after Sat Chat, it was in the evening, my husband had a cold for a couple of days, and the first day I'm like, maybe you should take a COVID test. He's like, it's just a cold. It's like sinusy and runny nose and stuff, and before, like, that was not a sign of COVID. And so it'd been a couple of days, and Jason had gotten another tick on him, and it had actually this was like last weekend or last week, and it had actually burrowed in, or a week before the sniffles. And I said, maybe you should take a COVID test just to rule out anaplasmosis because he started getting chills, and I'm like, that was how the anaplasmosis presented and started with him last summer. And so we took a COVID test Friday night, and it was positive. And so I'm like, stay away, I don't want to get it right before Thanksgiving. And so we told the kids to stay away and looked at the protocols, and I guess he would be in quarantine until Monday, which was like the Monday we just had. And so they told him to stay home from work on Monday and then come back on Tuesday. And I didn't get it, luckily. I took a test before we went down to China to visit my parents and my sister, just to make sure that I wasn't positive and just like not symptomatic yet, and my test came back negative, which is great. I took a test like right after you took his too, and I was still negative. But I was worried about that because my dad just had surgery to put a pacemaker in, so obviously I didn't want to visit him and have him get sick, or visit anybody else and have them get sick and then be around him. So that was good. We were able to go. Nobody else got it, and he's over it, so that's good. I guess symptoms are pretty mild nowadays, like the most recent strand of it, but I don't know. Everything's changing. I don't even like follow it like I used to before. It was kind of like, you know, you'd watch CNN every day and see what was going on, but now I'm like, whatever, it's here. I'm gonna try to protect myself as best possible, get my boosters, and just like it was funny because I was just thinking about when am I gonna get my booster, because I want to make sure I get my booster shot before I go, like in the optimum time before I leave for France, so that I don't get sick. Or I don't pick up anything on the plane, because there's just so many germs on the plane. So probably get some like give me all the vaccines, and please don't unsubscribe because I'm getting a vaccine. I know some people will be like, you get vaccinated, unsubscribe. I'm done with you. I'm so done with you. Yeah, that's the thing. People, like, they announce it. They announce it. I am done with you. I'm unsubscribing. Like, this is not an airport. You do not need to announce your departure. Seriously, folks. Yes, I'm getting a vaccine. So, and I've had a mammogram, so if you want to, like, you know, add to the rant. But anyway, everything is good here. Flat Christmas tree is on the wall. There are still some spots available in the France trip, in the second week of the France trip next year. If you want to grab a spot, that would make an awesome Christmas present too. If you have a spouse who is a painter and you want to, or a friend or whatever, you want to do a painting trip, that would be a lot of fun, I think. And what's new? So I've actually been kind of ticking off the viewer request videos that I keep a little note in my phone, and when somebody requests, especially if I had a couple people request a video, and I'll keep those notes in my phone so that when I'm sitting down at my table, sometimes I have a hard time deciding what I want to paint. So I have a video of the Nebula Star, which I posted on Instagram during Inktober, and I had a couple requests for that, so that went up this week. Also, the Sketchy Birds, the fountain pen bird sketch, that would have been up yesterday, I believe, and also the gouache ketchup and mustard bottle that I did for the Food Paint Challenge. I had a few requests on Instagram to do that. I also had a really interesting request, and I thought, oh, this is a great idea. Somebody had asked if I could do a video on how to use a flat compass, and this video, I believe, is going to be posted tomorrow. Because at first I'm like, well, what do you mean how to use a flat compass? I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but then I'm like, you know what? It is, but then I'm like, I don't think I'm using it as well as I could, especially for the smaller circle sizes. So I filmed a tutorial on this, best uses, when you might want to go with a traditional compass. And then I found out there's actually flat compasses. Like this one has, I got this came in like a pack of 12, and it's great because I stash them in all my drawing bags, every desk, they're everywhere. These have letters on the holes. There's actually ones that have a ruler along the side, which makes so much more sense, because if I want to make like a specific size circle, what I have to do is take my ruler and measure from the center to like the hole to get like half of the size that I want. So if I want a 4-inch circle, for instance, I'd measure from the center to like 2 inches away, the hole 2 inches away, and then that's how I would get it. And that works fine. But there's actually ones that have the ruler on the side that would be way more useful. I just didn't know that when I bought these. I didn't know that was an option. I really didn't know that these wouldn't have a measuring on it. I was just kind of like, flat compass. I saw somebody use one in a video. I'm like, that's what I need. And I ordered a pack, and I didn't really investigate it too much further. I'm not going to order more because, I mean, I have a lifetime supply of these puppies, but I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea for sure. If you're ordering, if you don't have one already, I would definitely look for the ones that have the numbers on them, unless you feel like measuring with a ruler. So you need a ruler anyway a lot of times, so it's not that big of a deal. But then when I was just kind of seeing how do other people use a flat compass in case I was missing out on something, and I saw this video from an art teacher, like a 6th grade art teacher, and she did a video on how to make mandalas with it. And so she started off making a color wheel, like making a circle and dividing it up into 12 equal portions. It's like, I have the worst time trying to divide things up in equal portions by eye. So when I did this color wheel here, because I did a review for Shinhan Gouache. It's not going to be up until, I think it's actually posting on Christmas Day. But I bought the set of 12 and I'm like, oh, I didn't, this is just a split primary wheel. I did the split primary colors and mixed the colors, but I'm like, oh yeah, you could use that for whatever. But then she showed how to do a mandala after that. And I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Anyway, I'll try to think to link up her, she has a couple videos on that. It's very geared to like her 6th grade students, which I think is so charming and so cute that she made that video for her 6th grade students. But it was a great way to use those compasses, and I thought that was really neat. But anyways, my video on the flat compass does not have to do with making mandala or a circle or anything like that. It's about, well, it's about making circles, but it's more about how to use it if you have problems, how to overcome obstacles with this tool. And it's just a short video on how to use that tool, which I use every day. I think it's super handy, and I love that I can just tuck it into any bag, any like little travel bag that I'm using. Because you can do arches with it and curves and whatnot. So another thing that I posted this week was a review of the Liang Pretty Excellent tube watercolors. So this is a swatch of those, and I compared them. The big swatches are the tubes and the small swatches are the pan paints, and I found they matched really well. The only color that didn't match from the newest set of the Liang pan paints was the Fresh Purple. The Fresh Purple was a little bit more, it was a little bit more blue in the tubes than in the pans, as I recall. Yeah, it seems like there's a little bit bluer than in the pan. But other than that, I thought they were really good matches. There were a couple colors that had a little bit of a scaliness to them. These 3 up here, which I wasn't that keen on. But overall, I think they're great. They do make a good refill set. And then Paul Rubens sent me the Chaumet watercolor tube set that they just had come out. Because honestly, these is supposed to be a better quality paint than the Liang paints. And the color numbers match though between the Liang and the Chaumet. And with the pan set, I thought like just not comparing them side by side, they seemed to be about the same quality. But then when I did, like later on, I was kind of playing with both paints. And like the Chaumet did seem to be a little bit more transparent and a little bit cleaner and a little bit more robust, a little bit brighter and stronger. So I'm really curious to compare these tubes compared to the Chaumet pan set, and then also compared to the Liang paints, because this is actually, there's 24 colors here, but the tubes are more than twice the size, so you actually get 100 mLs more paint in this set of the Chaumet watercolors versus the Liang Pretty Excellent watercolor set. So there's a comparison size-wise, but there's more paint in this. And they cost the same. And actually, they're both on Black Friday special right now. So I will link to both of those in case you want to grab them on Black Friday special to like refill your stuff or just to have them and use them as tube paints. But I thought that was interesting because my rep at Paul Rubens said this is a higher quality paint than the Liang, and per ml it's cheaper. So. But there's only 24 colors in that versus 36 in Liang. And Liang is very popular paint because it's so cheap and it's really great quality for the price. So I'm going to be working on that. I might work on that today. I don't know. It's actually pretty mild outside, so I'm thinking I want to do the porch Christmas decorations because I am not a cold weather girl. And yeah, if I'm going to be out there like wrapping ribbon around the post and wrapping garland around the banister and putting up all that stuff, if I have to be out there without gloves on, I want it to be warm. And it was like 38 when I walked the dog this morning, which is pretty warm for this time of year. It's supposed to be 40 in the like lower to mid 40s today, so it's probably not going to get warmer than that to do Christmas decorations outside. So planning on that, I think. This afternoon, my daughters also want to do some soap making. Oh, guys, I ordered some soap making supplies. They should arrive today. So, I have a plan. Because so this summer, one of my friends invited me to go to a lavender garden with them, and I was laid up. I had injured myself playing pickleball, and I had a pretty harsh pulled muscle, and I'm like, I cannot walk more than 10 feet right now. I certainly can't frolic around a lavender field. with you. But she brought me back a bundle of lavender that she had picked, and it smells so good. And I've had it drying on my windowsill since this summer, and I got the idea that I wanted to make some soap because my mother has been hinting that she would like some handmade soap. She's like, oh, that soap that you used to make, it's so moisturizing. And I just started using it because my mother tends to hold on to things and save things for like, you know, special occasions and whatnot. And I think she's kind of like, hey, I've got a lot of stuff, and I'm in my mid-70s. I think I'm going to start using some of this stuff. And so she's been using my soap, and she's like, oh, that's the best soap. I'd love to have some more of that soap. And so I'm like, all right, I gave away all my soap making supplies a couple of years ago, I think when I KonMari'd, because I'm like, I've made so much soap. I've done like so many craft fairs. I've done it for so many gifts that I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm so burnt out on soap and candles and stuff. So, but you don't need a lot of supplies to make soap. And so I bought a 5-pound block of soap base. I bought a set of soap colorants. Oh my word, it's so much cheaper to make soap nowadays than it was when I was doing it. Back when you had to go to like Joann's or, you know, Michael's to buy your soap supplies. I would wait for like clearance. I would like totally like load up on when they had like a clearance sale. But anyway, I found a Made in the USA soap base. I think it's called Primal Elements is the brand. I think I'll link it down below. I'll link what I ordered down below. But it was a great price. It was like 5 pounds. I think I paid about $18 or $19 for the block. And then the dyes the dyes were from a different company. I'm not sure their deal, but they were for bath bombs and soap. And it was like $8.50 for 8 colors, 8 or 12 colors, 8 or 10, I don't know. But basically what I want to do is I'm going to divide up the base. I'm going to dye some, I'll probably leave some white or maybe dye it just kind of like a little bit of a cream color, and then some kind of like a dusty lavender color and maybe some a dusty rose color, and then do a swirl. I'm just going to take like a loaf pan and put saran wrap in it, and I might put I have those long stamps. They're like texture mats. You use them for clay or for rubber stamps or whatever. Wash it real good. Put that in the bottom. And then I'm going to pour the soap base in there and swirl it. So I have a kind of a pretty swirling pattern with an embossed design on the top of it. Maybe not. I mean, I might not do the embossed design. I'm not sure. I think simple looks really good with these natural soaps. Oh, and I'm going to put the lavender probably into either the cream colored soap base or the soap base that I do like purple, and I think that's gonna look so good. It's gonna smell good. That's the only fragrance I'm gonna do is just what's from the natural lavender, because I think those soap bases just smell really nice anyway, and it's gonna be pretty all swirled up. Then when you slice it, you'll have the pretty swirl pattern, and then like you wrap it with like natural elements. I will wrap it in saran wrap first, which I know some people have a problem with, but you could always do glycine or wax paper if you don't want to do saran wrap. But the saran wrap's gonna hold in the moisture and it's gonna preserve it longer. So if your recipient doesn't use it right away, it's going to keep it nicer, keep it from drying out, and keep it clean. So obviously do whatever you want to do, but if you don't wrap it and it gets kind of dried out, it gets kind of dirty or dusty and then doesn't get used, and that's a waste too. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. You can do obviously what you want to do. You could also put it in like a little glassine like sandwich bag and like wrap some pretty twine around it for packaging, and so many things you can do with it. Anyway, it's a really nice, useful gift, and it's also non-consumable, or it is consumable, so it's not just gonna gather dust. Hopefully it'll be used. And of course it would be pretty not to put any dyes in it, just do the soap base. You could also like put oatmeal in the soap base if you want like a little bit of a scrubby, really moisturizing soap. You could do oatmeal. You could pulse it in your food processor a bit if you don't want to have the bigger oats in there. You just want that texture and that moisturizing ability. It's very moisturizing stuff anyway. But that also looks really nice and natural, and you don't have to use dyes to do that. I mean, theoretically you could use just regular food coloring, but you know, some people say not to do that because the colors can like blend together in the soap, but if you're just tinting it a little bit, I really don't see the harm. And it's obviously, you know, non-toxic. Some people say like food dye can stain your bathtub, but you know what? I did bath bombs and I used food coloring, and you're not using that much of it, and it worked fine. So you do what you want to do. Anyway, just the base on its own is really pretty. I do like doing a little bit of creative stuff, but I'm not going to go too crazy about it. I want it to be pretty and just natural looking and natural being, except for just a little bit of colorant. I think they'll make some nice gifts. It's so hard to think of gifts for other adults, because it's like, well, I mean, I'm speaking from like a first world place of privilege. You know, we have pretty much what we want. And it's hard to pick for other people because, you know, you don't pick the wrong thing and then end up having it, you know, just a burden, you know, for somebody to get rid of. So I don't know. I'm excited for that project. Lila's really looking forward to making some soap. She loves to craft with me, and it's such a fun gift to make. And plus, she's got her college friends too. She might want to make some bars for her friends at school. And we can do that this weekend. So that will arrive today. I'm really excited for that because I haven't done that in a while. And it's always, it's fun. It's one of those fun, like really satisfying projects. How much time do I have left? Oh, I've got like 7 or 8 minutes. It's one of those satisfying projects because you can do this batch in an afternoon. It takes you about the same amount of time to make like 10 bars or, you know, 50 bars, really, if you have enough like mold things you can use for molds. Another thing I like to use for molds is like the, I think it's called like antiseptic packaging. You know, like if you buy soy milk or coconut milk or broth, things like that, it comes in that cardboard, waterproof cardboard. Orange juice also, those waterproof cardboard boxes. You can wash those out and like cut the top off where the spout is, wash it out really well, and then you can use that as a mold. And then, but you only can use it once. So after you've made your soap, then you let it cool, and then when it's completely cool, you just peel off the, you just tear off the cardboard, and then you would slice it up. But I'm going to use, I have plenty of loaf pans because I bake bread like a crazy person, so I'll just use those, and that'll work too. I like to put the saran wrap in it. I know some people are probably like, what's with you and saran wrap? Don't you know the world's on fire? But I have glass mold pans, and it will help lift it out. I can lift it out of there. It can be hard to get it out otherwise. You know, obviously do what you want to do. And then you won't get the soap on your pans if you're worried about the pans tasting like soap afterwards. I think with an aluminum pan, it'd probably be just, you'd be able to pop it out pretty easily. But with the glass ones, putting the saran wrap in there will help. But if you're using the aluminum ones, just, you know, wash it really well afterwards. So if you do have any, like if you decide to put fragrance in your soap or whatnot, you can get all of that out of the pan before you use it to bake anything. But I'm still knee deep in the sourdough. I have a freezer full of bread at this point. I made rolls and I took them down to my sister's, and she had like them on the counter for me to take back with them. Like, oh no, you keep them. Put them right in your freezer if you want to, and just take out what you need for a meal or whatever, because they like the bread and stuff. It's just, it's like, I have so much bread here. It's got bread coming out of my ears. I was thinking I will probably keep making sourdough until I'm through the 25-pound thing of flour I have from Sam's Club, and then probably be like, okay, there's enough in the freezer. We're good. And then bake up the rest of the starter. I have to give some starter to my friend Kathy, though. She wants to do some. It's fun. It's fun. It's something I like to do once a year, and then I get sick of it. And then because you have to deal with this dough every day. It's like having a pet. You've got to feed it, and you've got to bake with it, and you know, you can't forget about it, or it'll turn into alcohol. It'll get scary, but it's fun. It's fun. What else? Oh, something else. I want to update you. I used the Honey Blonde color gloss again last night, and I have been using this for a couple months, I think. I talked about it when I ordered it originally. I'm really becoming a fan of that stuff because I had actually a couple little like strands of gray trying to invade my head, and I didn't want to color my hair. I colored it sometime last month, sometime in October, mid-October, I'd say. And I used a color gloss it was before we left for New York, so it was probably around the 24th or so. And I hadn't really done anything else to it since, but I was feeling like my roots are coming in pretty dark, and I just wanted to blend between my roots and the lighter ends. So I have the Honey Blonde color gloss, and so I put that on after I washed and conditioned my hair last night for like 5 minutes, and I feel like it blended things pretty well. I highly recommend it especially if you are starting to maybe get a little bit of gray in and you don't want to color your hair. It's like a deep conditioning treatment, and you put it on. If you don't have colored hair, you put it on your hair for like up to 15 minutes and then rinse it out, and it's going to stain those grays, and it's just going to give your hair like more gloss and luster. If you don't have any gray, it's fine. It's just going to give your hair gloss and luster. And if you're trying to like stretch out your hair coloring, maybe to preserve your, the health of your hair, or maybe because you just, don't have time, or you want to save some money, using that, like what they say once a week, but I use it once a month because I only wash my hair once a week. It does really maintain your color a lot better and the health of your hair, and keeps the ends like from getting all fried and whatnot. So I'm highly recommending that. It comes in all different colors depending on what your hair color is, and it's kind of like, if you ever heard of the project Just for Men, which is like a shampoo and hair color that they sell for men to use that are going gray. That's kind of what the color gloss is, but it's like a deep conditioning hair mask that you would use after you washed your hair. So if you want to have if you want that color to really grab your hair, what I'd do is I'd wash your hair with like a clarifying shampoo, and then I would put the color gloss in, and if your hair is color treated, leave it for up to 5 to 10 minutes and then rinse it out. The longer you leave it in, the more it's going to suck into your hair. If your hair isn't color treated, you can leave it on up to 15 minutes because your hair is going to be more healthy and less porous and isn't going to suck in the color that well. But I mean, I can't see the downside to it. The only thing I could see is the downside is if you went with a color that's too dark than what you want, thinking you're going to go darker to like have it take better. Be careful, it does take pretty well. If I left this on 15 minutes, my hair would be like probably like gold, like bright screaming yellow gold. So just be warned with that, but I think it's a great product. I'm going to link to that down below. It's $10. They say it's up to 3 applications, but I think it's more like 6 applications on my hair length. Maybe I didn't put in as much because I put in a lot the first time I used it and it was way too strong. It was way too yellow for the color that I picked. But there is also a clear, and I think the next color I might try is this kind of like champagne-y pinkish color, but it's not, I'm just afraid it might be too pink. But it's kind of a pretty color actually. I don't want pink hair, but it's kind of like this pretty luster to it. Anyway, I recommend it, and if you're looking for something just to tide you over between colorings or stretch your budget out between colorings a bit, or just to kind of give your hair a little lift that's not very drastic, it's wonderful. And it fluctuates between $8 and like $13. I'm sure drugstores have it, but I rarely go into a drugstore. I usually go to the grocery store and get all my, like, I swear, I buy my makeup and everything at the grocery store. I am just not bothered. But I got the color gloss on Amazon because my grocery store doesn't have it. It might be cheaper at like Walmart or something, but if you're ordering online, I'll link to it. And you can wait. The prices fluctuate because different people sell it. And I think it's great. Anyway. What else? I guess I don't really have much to report. I'm trying to post videos most days, actually, leading up to Christmas. It's and you probably see most YouTubers doing that because it is, the ads pay really well this time of year, so I do appreciate all you guys watching my videos because that does help me keep 2 kids in college. I do appreciate it so much. And if you see any videos that you think your friends would like, please share it with them. And I will link to all the things I mentioned in the video description. And I do appreciate you shopping through my links as well. I've put up some wrap-ups on my community tab on my YouTube channel. If you just go to click my picture of my face and go to the YouTube channel and click on community, you might have to scroll over to it. As I've been finding deals and sales, I've been putting them there in community posts. Most of the sales started early and most of them are still available. Then you can see kind of what's going on if you've been looking for something or looking to save some money or getting ideas for gifts for people in the crafty, artsy genre, then you can check those out. Shopping through those links does help my channel and I do appreciate it. So thank you very much for your support. Please don't feel obligated to. That's not what I'm here for, but it does help the channel and I do appreciate it. But anyway, I think we're just about out of time. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!